That's fine. That's fine. It doesn't even matter. This means we have to start over from the beginning, and it'll be wonderful. Yeah. Everything's wonderful. Starting over from the beginning is exactly what I wanted to do. No problem. We'll call this a speedrun. We won't worry about the Yar or anything like that this time. We do have to worry about the medallion, though. We do have to get the medallion. That has to happen, like, as soon as possible. You can literally just stand here, and once the medallion appears, it'll just show up in your inventory. Oh, we got it. We're good. We're in good shape. This is open now. Let's go ahead and get our ankh again. I don't know what time of day the game starts at. That sounds like it might be useful information. And it might be random. I guess I don't know exactly when it would start. Hey, look at that. The ankh. Let's pop that gun. I got the ankh. I got the key. I got the medallion. Yeah, we're good to go. Let's just hit that. Head down to the map room. Find out where our flashing light's going to be. I don't know that I've ever completed this game deathless. I tend to fall off these mesas a lot because the little dot can be a little tricksy business sometimes. You kind of have to anticipate it a little bit because you got to make sure you lead the dot slightly or else it doesn't work properly. I did mention, I was talking about, I got my own Atari 2600 as an adult and played some of these games. And so a lot of those games I actually revisited from my childhood, and several of them were games I had never played before. I managed to come into a big old collection from a, I don't know, from a thrift store or something, like 50 some odd Atari 2600 games, and this was one of them. And I sat down and I remembered quite a bit of the solution. I think I might have had to use GameFAQs to patch up a couple of holes, but the really interesting thing about the Atari 2600 is the joystick that I showed you in the beginning of the video. The port on the joystick is identical to the port on a Sega Genesis controller. So I didn't actually play these games when I got my Atari in like 2000 or 2001. I had joysticks, but I didn't use them to play games. I actually used a Sega Genesis controller that I bought off of my brother because he had a Genesis, but he didn't use it much anymore, and I just bought one of his old controllers. And it was marvelous. This game you couldn't play with the Genesis controller because you had to have the two joysticks. So I moved Indy around with the Genesis controller. Then I moved him with the joystick, and I used my inventory with the Genesis controller because it had the D-pad. It was easier for me to flip back and forth. We have to wait for the sun to rise again. That's alright, I don't mind sitting here for 12 minutes with you guys. I love you all. This is time well spent. Time well spent. You guys are going to love the fantastic ending of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh, I can't believe I didn't make a note of where the Ark was located. That is a particularly Brickroad-sized mistake there. That's, in retrospect, exactly the kind of thing that I would do, to be honest. Exactly the kind of thing that I would do. So, I probably should have got another bag of gold before coming here. I would have had to drop my flute, but if I was carrying another bag of gold, I could walk straight down to the black market from here and buy that shovel. But instead, we're going to have to go back and get more gold. Maybe pack both a shy and an ankh. Well, with the shy, I need 3 bags of gold, though. I don't have enough inventory space for that. So you can see between the inventory limit of 6 items and the multiple solutions for various problems in the game, you can make it, like, there's a lot of decision making involved. There's a lot of balancing what you can carry versus what you want to get versus where you want to go. And you can play the game a couple of different ways. And sometimes you can let the game decide how you're played. Like, you go to the treasure room. If I see a shy first, I'll be like, okay, well, I'll grab that. 3 bags of gold, warp there and buy my shovel first. If I see the ankh first, I'm like, no problem. I'll go get my medallion and go across the mesa field to find the Ark of the Covenant. So we're in the 3rd row. The left mesa of the 3rd row. And I actually did write that in my notepad exe that time. Beautiful. Yeah, let's go ahead and mosey on out of here. Make sure this guy can't get me. Where there? Oh, I just walked back in, didn't I? I did. No problem. It's okay. Oh, I did it again. No problem. Ah, almost did it a third time. This basket has nothing in it. Cool. So, back to work. We can now ditch the medallion and the key and get some more gold. And this is a game, honestly, I just like sitting down and completing. Similar to most of the NES games that I loved as a kid. So it looks like we're going back with the Shy. No, not a problem. Like, it's just fun to sit down with this game and just run through it real quick. Usually only takes a couple minutes. I need to get an ankh too. So we can get rid of that flute for now. Oh, we're actually going to be 4 bags of gold, though. So we got to buy a parachute as well. But I can come back quickly for a bag of gold later. Only takes a second to run in here. Yeah, like you're seeing, I'm getting hourglass over and over and over, and then eventually it'll turn into the ankh, and I'll get the ankh over and over and over. It's because right now it's a particular time in the game world, and if it's, say, 1 o'clock, it'll always be a particular item. There's very little control you have over that, other than just waiting, though, or repeatedly trying again until you see the item that you like. There's my ankh. Okay. So let's drop the whip. Take this last bag of gold. Get out of here. We need to walk back to... Let's definitely not get trapped. 'Cause if we get trapped without a whip, we'll be in real bad shape. We actually want to use the Shy to go to the black market, pay off the lunatic, buy the shovel. Now we just need a parachute. And it is the left mesa, 3rd row. Okay, let's go. Start off by going up to the top. Don't need to worry about the Yar this time. We already saw the Yar. If you didn't, go back and freeze frame it, I guess. Put your pause button to work. Is this the 3rd row, or is this up here the 3rd row? You go a little higher, I think. A little lower. I want to get onto that middle one up there. Okay, so I think that's the top up there. So this would be the left mesa of the 3rd row. Oh, see, now I'm second guessing myself again. Did I mean 3rd row as in, like, counting that the top pair as a row or not? I'm assuming not, because I think in the map room, those look a little... They look less like a row. Actually, oh, I don't have the key anymore. I could go double check. I think it's this one here, though. This one up here. Let's see if I can get onto it. Yeah, I think it's going to be this one here. I want to be standing on the mesa when I drop the ankh, though. Alright, here we go. Get the shovel out. And hopefully... It takes a year and a half to dig all this up. Ah! We win! And our endgame screen, our congratulatory the end screen, is literally just the title screen again. Pretty good score, actually. That's a pretty high up there. I don't know exactly numerically what that represents, and I don't know what the best score possible is, or what you even do to determine your score in the game. But there we go. We have retrieved the Ark of the Covenant, and that brings us to the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. The very first complete console action-adventure game. complete with puzzles and combat and inventory use and different areas to explore and figure out, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Shoutouts to Silver Prater for sponsoring this video, and to everybody who makes this channel possible by supporting me on Patreon.